Okay, it's 12 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. I'll wish you a happy afternoon. And we have muted everybody for the presenter's sake, and we ask that you stay muted throughout the presentation so that uh, we can keep the extra noise down to a low level. I'm Steve Schillig, the moderator, the director of the Small Business Development Center, headquartered at Kent State University, Tufts. This is being hosted by the Small Business Development Center, which provides confidential, no-charge consulting. We have a team of specialized counselors with backgrounds in marketing, food service, leadership, finance and accounting, QuickBooks and bookkeeping, computer technology, HR, and trademark and intellectual property. So if any of those subjects are of interest to you or you'd like some additional information, feel free to reach out to me. Again, everybody is muted, so I would ask that any questions or comments be directed toward the chat room. You'll find that in the ribbon below your screen or maybe up in the upper right-hand corner. Just hover your mouse over Show Conversation and type away, and I'll do my best to monitor that. We wanted to offer this workshop to provide some very, very valuable information on keeping your records current and being productive with all the information that comes your way on a daily basis. I'm happy to introduce today Erica Metzger. She's an SBDC advisor with a strong background in social media platforms. The slides that she goes through today will be emailed to you at the conclusion. We are recording this session, and you'll find the recorded session on our website probably in the next week to 10 days. And at the end of the session, I'll be happy to ask Erica any questions that did pop up during the presentation. At this point, I'll turn it over to Erica. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the introduction, Steve. Welcome everybody. I'm excited to get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We had a little bit of an issue sharing screens earlier, so bear with me. Okay. Are we able to see my screen, Steve?
Yes.
Perfect. Don't have to worry about that then. As Steve had mentioned, this is the personal virtual productivity to focus on the individual side of this. If any of you are running teams or have a business that you are managing other people, I can, after this, show you how to do some other things. Just message me. I'll send you an email afterwards and we can go through this more in depth. Also, with all of this, I'm going to be showing you software. Most of it is free, and I will be utilizing the actual web pages for those individual software services so that we can take a look at those. I will be providing those links. A service that I offer, I do help people set these accounts up for themselves. They're fairly easy to do on your own. However, sometimes when we get into more complex situations, it helps to have somebody who knows how to set that up for you. And that is something that I can do for you through the SBDC one-on-one. Okay. Go to the next slide. So in this training, we're going to talk about how to create a system to manage your calendar, decluttering your email inbox. Before I did this, I had, oh gosh, I had like over 100,000 unopened emails in one of my email accounts, and the other one was around 50,000. Now I keep my email box very lean. I pretty much only see what it is that I want to be seeing, and I'm able to put the emails that I want to read later truly in a read later category that I just don't pay attention to unless I need to. The setting up of a password management software. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. It's really important. I can't tell you how much time I see people wasting and how much time I had wasted myself trying to dig through passwords. It's, you know, on a sticky note. Is it, do my kids have it? Who knows what it is? Gosh, that's not the right one. I'm going to show you software that can help clean that up. It's something you can do for yourself. It's also something that you can do for your entire family. And if you really get advanced with it, it's a way for you to share passwords securely with people that you're working with either on your team or outside of your team as needed. The big one here too would be the implement a visual management system. It's very important. and blocking your social media feeds while you are working. Not that anybody has issues while they're working with being on social media, but if you're like me, part of my job is on social media, or I get notifications to my phone, and it's very distracting. And sometimes it's just really helpful to just clear the noise. And at the end of this, we're going to look at how to figure a dollar amount of time wasted due to inefficiency. And let me tell you, at first I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. All right. When I put myself through this process, I was shocked. I couldn't believe how much time I was wasting on stuff that just didn't matter. And of course, I'm not perfect, so I still struggle with that one, making sure that I'm not wasting my time. However, having it down on paper certainly helps. Okay, so first we're going to talk about Calendly. And to do this, I have to take you out of PowerPoint, and we're going to take a peek at the Calendly homepage. Are you still able to see my screen?
Seems to be frozen.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead. It gave me a little alert, so let's try this. Here we go. Everybody see?
We can.
Great. Okay, I may have a little bit of an issue switching back from PowerPoint, so we're just going to go ahead and continue. So Calendly is an online scheduling software that integrates with your calendar. I know people that schedule meetings all day long. I have a client that she offers a service. It's a one-on-one service. She was spending hours every day with the back and forth trying to schedule. I myself, I schedule a lot of meetings. There's times where, I have in the past procrastinated to get that meeting scheduled, just for the simple fact being that not everybody, what's my schedule like? What's their schedule like? I didn't even want to go through all of that. So I just kind of put it off. And then here I am not scheduling the way I'm supposed to be. So having a setup like Calendly is very helpful. Now, Calendly is driven by your calendar. And for this presentation, I'm going to go ahead and focus on Google setup. So I use Google Calendar. I use Google account to manage my email. So I would have had the option to use Outlook or Mail, but I do use Google's email hosting service, which I really like. But you can do this with any setup that you have, and I want to make sure that you understand that, because what I'm showing you today, if it doesn't quite look like what you have, I can always go through this again with you individually. So what I've done is just kind of landed on the features page. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up a Calendly as well. But what is really cool about Calendly, it sends a confirmation to the person who's scheduling with you. It goes ahead and it puts it on your calendar and their calendar. If you're scheduling Zoom or Microsoft Teams, you're able to go ahead and automatically send that link to them, rather than going into Zoom or Teams and trying to figure out, okay, where is this? How does that work? Really, that's just a time waste, and I am glad that I've gotten away from it. So to go ahead and get started, you'll just go to Calendly. And I already have a Calendly account for Sourdough. I'll show you guys what that looks like. We call these freemium versions. I do have a paid account. However, you're certainly, I recommend that you use the free version as long as you can. And if you outgrow it, great. And the pricing on these are always pretty low. Okay, so I'm going to sign up with Google. You can see I'm just following the prompts, and they're just prompting me. Since I already have Google, it's fairly easy. Then my Sourdough, again, like I had mentioned, is hosted by Google, so it would also go through this. Outlook would do the same. You would just see slightly different prompts. You can go ahead and feel secure in knowing that you're moving it through those prompts without any security issues. And then when you get to this page, it's going to ask you to create your Calendly URL. And so for this instance, it went ahead and just used the email address that the first part of my email. For my business account, I believe it says Sourdough, or maybe it's Erica Metzger, and I'll show you what that looks like on my end as well. But for this practice, I'm going to go ahead and leave that username. I'm just going to, yep, it's available. And it would be unique to you. So sometimes you might have to add a couple letters to it or numbers and change it up. So they're going to go ahead and check to make sure that I don't have any conflicts, and also that they're going to add events and hook up with my calendar. If you're using a different type of calendar, it is possible that you may have to do a couple extra steps there. So to set up availability, it's quite easy. They do have like a standard available hours already listed. I'm going to go ahead and leave that 9 to 5. Myself, I do not work a full work week. I am only working 3 days a week typically. So I would uncheck my Mondays and Fridays. Go ahead and show, look, some people don't work Fridays because they have to work Saturdays. And take a peek what this looks like. I actually am not entirely sure. They say they tailor their support experience to this, but I've never seen a difference. I'm choosing sales and marketing. You choose what you feels right for you. All right, and so this is the free version. And the free version, it starts you out with a trial and they give you access to everything. And in the free version, they're going to, after your trial expires, you're going to receive one scheduling event, which we're going to call these events, these cards right here. And so what I'm going to do, since we're going to focus on one, I will just delete these two. It's very intuitive. You know, kind of just look around your screen. It usually will tell you where you need to go next if you get stuck. And okay, so here I am for my business account, and it is paid. I think it's $8 a month for the version that I am paying for. They may have like an enterprise account that would be inclusive of more than just a couple team members. But here you can see we've got the card, and this would be new to you. So you would still need to do a little bit of setup. You'll see. Let me go back because I kind of clicked through that quickly. You're going to see a couple drop down areas. You're going to see this little wheel and it'll show you your edits. Sometimes you may want to just clone that event and make small adjustments. That's a really good way to work at it. And then the link to that specific event, it can also be found here for you to utilize in your emails. You can actually add it to your website. There's several different ways to show those and make them feature on your media. All right, so we're in, and you can see too, you're able to turn these events on and off. I do that because I offer different types of trainings, or perhaps, you know, with COVID, I'm not really meeting with people as much in person. So I just don't even really offer that right now, and I will. So I just hit that event type. The other thing too is when you hide these events, they're still in your system, so you could still schedule them if you utilize the link. That way, if you're offering something to a person that you wouldn't offer to another, that, you know, you wouldn't be showing content to the person you're not offering it to. They wouldn't even know it existed. All right, so I tend to like to name my meetings a little bit better than a 60-minute meeting. So this would be, you know, I will often, since I do a lot of consulting, meeting with Erica Metzger. This is what is going to show up in your calendar. So I'm just going to skip over here to my calendar for a moment. All right, this is what's going to show up in here, and it would give you the actual formal title. So it's kind of important to make sure that this event name makes sense. Here is where you can see this is an in-person meeting. It's really kind of neat because you can allow, let's say, daily grind. If I'd like to include additional information, I'm able to do that. I'm also able to offer choices to the attendee. So if I want to say, okay, you know what, some people like to meet at the daily grind, some people like to meet at what's cooking. You know, you can meet wherever you'd like, or you can let that person choose themselves. The other nice part, and I had mentioned this earlier, the Google Meet, you can see Teams, Zoom, it's probably going to tell me it's not connected. But when I choose this option, I'm able to have my Zoom automatically integrated. There's other different types of video recording software that integrate as well. And so when I am making these appointments and scheduling with people, I'm not even paying attention to Zoom. It is taking all of that information, it is booking it in Zoom, it's putting it on the calendar of the person I am scheduling with. It's putting it on my calendar. It's actually really nice. And you can do the same thing with phone call. And choose, do I want to call my invitee or should my invitee call me? I always call and just let them know if they want to contact me, they can reach me on social media. They're free to text me. They can call me, whatever that ends up being. Generally, I do give a description here. I just let them know, like, this is my Zoom chat scheduler. Can't spell today. I go a little bit more in depth, if this is going to be one of the SBDC presentations I give pretty regularly is the Facebook makeover. And so I have a nice description in this so that people understand when they're scheduling with me what to expect. I let them know that it's possible we could go over a little bit on time. I let them know that we're going to walk through X, Y, and Z. And then for the Facebook makeover, I would name it something like FB makeover. Can't type. Makeover. All right. And that would just be that unique event link. And we're going to talk a little bit about color coding when we get over to the calendar section of this. And I mean that by like the Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. I want to make note right now, and I'll remind you guys a couple of times too, that your online calendar, such as Google or Outlook, it is going to reign supreme. It is the master account. Whatever you do on that calendar overrides everything in Calendly. So as we go through this, there's a couple areas where that actually matters, but it really is also for your sanity and protection so that you don't accidentally get the two systems confused.
Erica?
So, yes.
I'm sorry. Does Calendly have an app so I can access it on my phone on the go?
It does. Yes. And that's a really good question because everything that I am showing you guys today is they are software as a service and you will access them on your browser. But then you're also able to download the apps. And that's a key area where people they'll start it on their desktop or their laptop and they'll get this set up and then they forget to download these apps. And it's important that you do that because then you've got your full system integration and you get your notifications properly. You don't have to worry about, oh, I got to go back to my computer to schedule. Good question. Let's just say, since this is a phone call or any type of meeting, I always do those bright red. That's just me. I don't want to be missing a meeting that is important and that I'm meeting with a client or that I'm going to give a presentation. So I just make it as flashy as possible. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. And this is probably one of your most important areas. And I'm going a little bit fast here, but what I'm doing is just clicking through their process. I want people to be able to book with me no longer than, I usually will, 30 days is about all I can handle. Anything after that, if people are surprising me with popping on my calendar, it's a little difficult. Some people choose, it doesn't matter, they can do it indefinitely. So in the beginning, when we set this up, we set an existing schedule. I can set the custom hours, or we can go ahead and utilize an existing schedule. We're going to go with those. We'll use default hours. And here it has held those hours for me. And you can see that, oh, we took Friday off. So yay. All right, moving in. I am able to choose how long of a duration that this meeting should take. And I believe at the top I didn't specify, but we'll go ahead and say that this is a 60-minute. Of course, you can do a custom. I like to have buffers. I generally like to have a 5-minute buffer or even a 30-minute buffer before the event. Usually after the event, I don't even put anything there. And then your rules of availability. And these are just making sure that when you read through them, they'll make more sense to your event or your meeting that you're wanting to schedule. I like it so that people, I try to allow people to schedule same day with me. It's a little bit difficult. So I give them 4 hours. This is so somebody can't say, I need a meeting with you in an hour, and it just shocks you and disrupts your entire your entire day. You could do hours, you can do minutes. Let's just say 1 day on this one. And we're going to talk about your time management in this course as well. But for me, for like recordings or presentations, I can only handle 1 of those a day. Perhaps if it's Zoom, because I'm doing a lot of Zoom meetings right now, I try to stick to only 2 of those a day. It's a lot of meetings. And this is with clients. Of course, with my team, I do whatever they need. But we're going to say we'll do 2 a day. And this is another key element right here. Some of my teams are in other countries. In fact, one of my teams that I serve on a board for an organization, most of the other people on the board, they're in Denmark, the UK, and Australia. So having these time zones is very important. Okay, and then this is if you want it to be a secret event and hide that. It's kind of the same thing as turning it off or on. There's a few more features there. All right, and then we've got the rules written then for how we would like to handle the people scheduling with us. What we have here are the invitee questions. This is just like any form. It's a form builder. I always want their name. I want their email. And if it's going to be a phone call, then I need their phone number. I don't always require a phone number. And then just anything that they would like to share with me prior. You can see we can add new questions, all these fun things so that people can get us what we need and we're able to extract that from them. For this presentation, I'm not going to go through all of this with you, the notifications and cancellation policies. I think this is an important area for you to spend on your own time, and they give you, good information of how to like handle these. They're almost like templates. They give you a template for the calendar information. This is the title, the inventees, their name. It's kind of automatic. Email reminders. So this is something I always turn on and personalize, and you can see it's already pre-written for you. I want 24 hours notice. This is a cool thing too, because see, I don't have to go back in my calendar and set this up myself. It saves so much time. And then I always want 1 hour before. So I've got 24 hours before I am receiving a notice and the attendee is receiving a notice. And then 1 hour before we're receiving each that 1 hour notice. Okay, same thing with email follow-up. I don't tend to do this. Email follow-up would be as soon as my meeting ends, a pre-written email would go out. A lot of times salespeople will use this, or if you have some type of meeting that you're doing that's repeat, this would be to set up. I just haven't found a good way to integrate it with what I do. And you have some privacy options here, text reminders, and then they have a template for a cancellation policy. I guess they don't really have a template, but they allow this. So what happens sometimes is that people will schedule with you and then they'll cancel. They'll cancel, just boom, cancel last minute. They sometimes don't even say anything. They just take it off your calendar. And writing in here, just saying, please don't do that is very helpful, and let them know that you'll schedule as they need. Okay. And then confirmation. This is just what the person on the other end would say. You can collect payments as well. I haven't done this, although I do have a client that I set up to do this. And there you go. So here's the live page view. And here are all of the open dates and times that somebody is able to schedule with me. And you can see I can click on here, and here's how they're able to go ahead and book. I would do all of this, and it would end up on the calendar if I would continue. I want to show you then what this looks like. Okay, so now we've got this whole card is set up, and wrong direction. All right. So up here, you can see that it is coded. I've got E. Harris Design at Calendly, and here are, so this is a link right here that I would share in an email with somebody, and that would take them directly to this scheduler. And if I wanted to take them to an overall scheduler because I had, say, 3 or 4 events set up, I would just click on, I would delete backspace, and here is the full scheduling page. And I'll show you what that looks like in my personal account. I have to log out to do this. This is me. They're just verifying that I am who I say I am with any type of password entry. And you can see this is what I use for sourdough, and I've got EMETs on here. So this is my full link that would show when if I want to send this to somebody that's like general. I have a trial schedule in here right now because I was messing around with it when I was trying to set up for you guys. You can see there's a meeting for Erica Metzger available, and I also have a 30-minute call. And I don't show everybody all of my meeting availability. So I have a group that I meet with several times a month, and I give them full access to my schedule. They can have anything. I will drop everything I am doing when they need me, and so that's available. But I also keep that hidden. You can tell it's hidden because that I is crossed out. And the recordings, my 1-hour recordings right now, I'm kind of keeping that close because again, time is limited, have some time restrictions, and this is how all of that operates. The other item that I will note for you, and I love this feature. So let's see. I can click on here and get that single use link, or here is that add times email, and I can choose. So for December, I'm going to pick the 17th, 16th, 17th, and 22nd. I'm going to finish. That goes ahead and copies, and then let's see here. I guess I don't have an email open. Show you. Pull up my Gmail account. I'm not even sure what Gmail account this is going to be. And come on. All right. There we go. So I was able to go ahead and put this in the email and show multiple times, or I can go ahead and just share that single link. And the single link looks like, what's up here? Looks something like this. So generally, I just go ahead and let the person know, hey, thanks for reaching out. I'd love to schedule a meeting with you to avoid the back and forth. Let's go ahead and use my scheduler. If you have one, please send me the link and I will schedule with you. The cool thing about this is if they're using your link, you're done. You don't have to do anything. They go through, they choose, there's zero back and forth. And they're able to then go direct to your page, enter their information in, and then boom, again, they're in on your calendar. So I'm going to show you, I guess, does anybody have any questions before I move on from that?
No questions at this time.
Got it. So going to move forward. We've got I'm going to show you my email, my calendar, I mean. This is my Google Calendar, and there is a proper way to set up your calendar. And the reason that you want to have a properly set up calendar is for your own sanity. And by that, I mean, I used to allow people to schedule with me anytime they wanted, and I was available all of the time, and it just didn't work out. So I became more defensive over my time. And one thing that I do now that I didn't used to do was I used to view the month view. I felt like, okay, I have to see everything that's going on, but look at this. How in the world am I going to keep up with this, especially when there's repetitive stuff in here? So I've been using the week view, and I do it took a minute to get used to this, but this right here was a huge efficiency boost for me. And I mentioned that I don't work Mondays and I don't work Fridays. It doesn't mean that I don't always work those days, or that I'm always off. Sometimes I squeeze in some work hours. But what I wanted to do, and I've created these buckets of time. I've got unavailable time. I've got my family time. I have, you can see here's red. That means it's a phone call. Here's an external meeting. And I've written the rules to handle this. And so really what I have done, I've gone in here and I've blocked off these chunks of time. I've let it be known that those time frames are busy time and that people aren't able to schedule. Now, when that happens, Calendly automatically, even if I would have scheduled, okay, I'm available Sunday through Saturday, 24/7, Calendly would already pick up this and say, no, she's not. So it's important to remember. And so how do we set this up? That's the big project of all of this, because Calendly is pretty easy to set up, and it's not that this what I'm going to show you is difficult, but it is definitely something that you should be thinking of. And I'm going to share this calendar cheat sheet with everyone after the presentation. And this is just what works for me. So this is labeled, it's a sample. You can delete this when you're done, and then you can add your name, scheduling cheat sheet, and just add your own stuff in there if you would like. So
Erica,
for me, yes.
I'm sorry. Can you not accept or cancel a meeting if you don't accept, if somebody sends you an invitation or?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. Yep. You always have full flexibility of your time within Calendly. And there's also like, yes, that is the answer. And you can make it as restrictive as you want or as open as you want. And so for the calendar cheat sheet, I had mentioned that I always want my customer and client calls to be in red because that's very important to me. I don't want to miss that. I've notated that the maximum amount of these meetings I can handle right now are 4 per day. And it's reasonable for me to book this 1 week out in advance. I try not to go any further than that because it's just not, for the people I'm trying to service, they generally need immediate help. So I try to open up my schedule, and I also let people know, hey, if you don't see something on my Calendly link that doesn't work for you, because sometimes I have to work with people in the evenings, I just let them know that that's possible as well. And then you can see my networking calls; those are in yellow. Same thing with internal meetings. I put one on there. It's probably not true. I do as many internal meetings as I need. And then same things with podcasts, seminars, Facebook Lives. I'm only doing one of those a day, and I really, even at that, don't like to do more than like say 2 a week. And you can see that this information here under how far out is reasonable to book, that updates. Another item, and this is like embarrassing, but I'm just going to let you all know, I have forgotten my husband's birthday. I have forgotten our anniversary. I have gotten to a week and forgotten what day it is and been like, oh my goodness, it's my child's birthday, all of these things. We get busy. It's hard to remember. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but here is a section where you can put, here's the holidays, and then if I want to not be working that day, I put an X in it. My husband works at a bank, so I tend to take off bankers' holidays as well. Just give myself that little extra time with the fam. And then you can see the additional information. Here's my birthday. My husband's amazing. He was very forgiving. When I realized about, I don't know, midway through the day that I hadn't even wished him happy birthday. This was 2 years ago. I didn't forget last year, and I won't forget next. And then I have my kids' birthdays and my wedding anniversary. I also, time zone information, like I am in Eastern time zone. When I work with the organization that I sit on a board for that's all over the world, we actually have a time zone management calendar that we work through, and we will notate this information. I just go ahead, and these are the rules that then once you've created these, you're going to pull over into your calendar. And I do this pretty much by mornings, afternoons, and nights. I just remind myself what is happening here. So I never schedule meetings on Sundays. I rarely schedule them on Mondays, but I also will occasionally during the afternoon, if my son is napping, I will maybe take a call then. It's usually last resort, an emergency. And then I also let myself know, like, look, sometimes I'm working in the evenings. And just, again, what is this? This is family time. all of that information. I have in here my daughter, she was supposed to go to pre-K, but we didn't do that this year, sadly. And she's taking kindergarten and Spanish 3 days a week. And believe me, it's hard enough to keep up with my own schedule. I also have to schedule her stuff in too. And just the days that I have my sitter at the house. Okay, so how does that look then when I put it in the calendar? Here's my catch up / project time. Lately, I've been fitting in a 30-minute walk in the mornings. It's been really helpful. Sometimes, for accountability, I should probably go ahead and list that in there. I let it be known to my employees and anybody else who has access to my calendar that on Mondays and Fridays, it is mom mode. So if you're calling me, you're probably going to hear a screaming child in the background at some point. And so I just make sure all of that information is there. This white space in here, though, is where Calendly is going to allow information to be booked. All right, and then I have my family time, and this is important, especially for people who are working from home. You have to make that family time. I have just said it's 5 o'clock, I must stop, and I get back to it. And sometimes that means after 8 p.m., I'm going back and handling emails or at least setting up my day for the next. That's a big thing for anybody who's working from home right now. I do find it very helpful to just take that moment every night and say, okay, here are the list of top 3 to 5 things that I must do, tasks very quickly in the morning, and line up my day. That is instrumental in really eliminating that time waste. And going back to this cheat sheet, here's another item that helps with the time management. Is to have those blurbs, these common blurbs. And I have a huge giant list of common blurbs, but I went ahead and just focused this one on Calendly. I'm excited to work with you with respect for your time. Here's my scheduling link so we can avoid the back and forth of finding a time for your reading. I look forward to speaking with you. Please let me know if you have any questions. And then I would just have my links here. Oftentimes I even just include the link in this as well, but I'm going to share this with you guys, so I kind of kept it as general as possible. And then look, I just copy and paste and pop that in an email. I've actually gotten to the point now where I'm using code snippets that I just type in one button and it just pops in my email as it is, but that's a whole nother meeting, whole nother presentation. Again, having common links listed for yourself. I see these are not expanded very well, but the description of your business. I'm sure that there are many times that you're having to repeat that information. Just have it in a document that you can always go back and reference, copy, paste. Your bio, copy, paste. Your website, copy, paste. I mean, at this point, if you have one website, it's probably easy to manage that. Your social media pages, those links, because that's times where you're may need to direct somebody there. And then I just always have a list of like topics that I'm able to speak about in case I'm contacted to do a presentation on the fly. And then I don't use this, however, it's because of the way my team works. If I had a small team in-house, and we were utilizing, say, the same calendar and not utilizing our own and then viewing each other's, this would just be a way for us to notate the steps that have occurred, because sometimes you need to have that extra communication. So this is something that I will share with everyone. And again, this is just making sure that you set up your calendar properly. You've got to do this, because if you don't block off your time, it's fair game for somebody to take. And even if it's just the exercise of doing it, so that you are accountable to yourself for making that time for yourself. But I have found that not only did it make me accountable, but it also allowed me to know, like, oh, I can schedule a doctor's appointment on this day. Okay, I can actually get with my friends for lunch this day. So that's always been really helpful to me as well. We're going to move along, and I'm not going to switch back to the PowerPoint, because truly what I did was on the page, I just put a screenshot of where we're at right now and just a little descriptor of this is clean email. Guys, this is gold. And I wrote that in the copy for the meeting, the preview to this meeting. There are many different types of this software. I like Clean Email. You can see at the top, it's verified by Google. It passes independent security assessments. There are other ones called Unroll. I'm trying to think. There's just some other ones out there, and they've got varying degrees of security, but Clean Email by far is my favorite. And what I'm going to show you here, this works better as an app on your phone. You are able to sign in on your laptop and do it. Initially, you're going to go in and you're going to create rules. You're going to give clean email access. And I can't really log in and show you this because it just would be too much of my personal data. And I tried to set up a fake account and it just didn't really work. So how I'm going to explain this, it is a way to clean up your emails in bulk. So I mentioned I had over like hundreds of thousands of unopened emails that I just would send to a general Gmail account. But then there was also stuff in there that I was interested in, like maybe I want promos from Kohl's, but I don't want them in my inbox because as I'm going throughout my day and I'm trying to schedule and I'm trying to stay on top of things, the last thing that I want to do is have to dig through all of that. So what Clean Email does, they have a quick clean, and that's what you're seeing here.
Erica,
Yes.
can we just go back to Calendly just for a minute?
Absolutely.
With a question and a comment. The comment was, I think the blocked off time should match with priorities. And I think she just wants confirmation on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And everybody's got different priorities or they have a different process. So what that looks like for me probably would look different to you. And so, yes, I hope that answers the question. And we can talk about that more too.
Yeah, more of a confirmation. And that was also from someone that wants to take advantage of your one-on-one time. So she'll probably be filling out your calendar shortly. Do you also set up a reminder notifications in Calendar? Outside of Calendly, do you do any more notifications?
For scheduling, I do not. I do set up notifications through my Google Calendar occasionally if necessary, but I try my best to not be the person making notifications for people just because I'm a little bit of a firm believer that people had better have their own stuff together and that they can set their own.
Okay. And then this goes to your next subject. What's the difference between Clean Email and Unroll Me?
They're the same they're the same type of software. Unroll Me, I struggled with it. It just was not as intuitive. I struggled with connection. I would connect, it would disconnect me. And then I'm very concerned about security. And so Clean Email to me, I just really enjoyed having the sense of security based upon what I did search. Unroll Me had been going through some pretty large updates, so some of that could have changed. This is what then I went to and I've been using since. And did that answer the question?
Yes, got 2 thumbs up.
Great. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to talk about this Clean Email, and you can see that this person had 2,392 emails ready to be cleaned. They do this quick clean, and what it does is it goes ahead and it will segment your emails into these buckets, and it shows here's your inbox. These would be ones that had been answered or opened, but maybe nothing has been done with those. And you can see they have more unread emails. Those have to be handled. You just can't let them sit in there. And then emails older than 6 months. I will say this, guys, I hardly ever delete an email that has to do with business or personal. It's the stuff that would be junk, or maybe you were signed up for a newsletter and you are interested in that newsletter or that training, but you just don't want to read it now. So unread emails, that takes the longest to sort through, but none of this takes all that long. One of the big areas where you can make a huge impact is social notifications, whether you're getting Facebook, Instagram, any notification really. Look, that person had 14 emails, boom, they click on it, moves to trash. Miscellaneous notifications, and it lets you go in and view these individually, and you just scroll. Your eyeball picks it up real fast if something's not supposed to be in there. And really, it does an excellent job. So I've actually never run into miscellaneous notifications having something in it shouldn't. Boom, all those get moved to trash. If you want to use older than 6 months, great. I tend to go in there and just delete anything that has like a large file in it. So if it's, I like to keep all of my emails, but say I have sent something or somebody has sent something to me that I've already saved and they're huge, and you're able to, once you're in their filter again, to see if you have large attachments in there and just delete those out. And then it's going to give you a thing called Smart Unsubscriber. And what the unsubscriber will do is it is going to, I was going to see if they had a picture of it in here. The unsubscriber will take anything. It will give you a giant list and it'll say, do you want to read this later? So you can see, you can read this later, or you can keep it coming to your email inbox. Reading it later takes it to a different folder, or you can just totally unsubscribe where, and this is like a soft unsubscribe, you're actually not unsubscribing from the individual website. So let's say HubSpot is sending you emails because they have lots of really cool emails. Maybe I want to read those later. I'll click on read later. And every single day, I'm going to get an email at the end of the day of all of the emails that went into my read later. And since using clean email, the process they get you into is all of those read laters tend to be stuff that you really do care about, whether they're tips from Martha Stewart, whether they're trainings, just in general, things that you can't read during the middle of the day and you don't want clogging up your email box. And then with the unsubscribe, you're clicking on that. You can always get back to resubscribing through clean email, but what it does is it just hides all of that and takes it away. And you don't have to see that information anymore. And you don't have to go to each individual website and then choose to unsubscribe.
Erica, there's an unsubscriber tab up at the top to the left of the help, or to the right of the help.
Yep.
Are you going to talk about that as well? Someone had a question or a comment?
Sure. If they have a question, a specific question, I can answer that. Basically, subscriber, again, what that does is it will take the messiness, even messy mailbox. They take the stuff that you just don't want to be paying attention to and you really don't ever want to see again. Stuff like that would be, I sign up for who knows what. Like I tend to put, I'm just trying to think of like a good one. Like I'll go and sign up for different things online, or I downloaded XYZ and I just don't care to hear from that person anymore, or I love HubSpot, but I just don't want to see a certain type of email that they're sending me. Maybe I want their promos and maybe I want their training, or actually with HubSpot, I want their training, but I don't want their promos. I already own it. I don't want to buy it. Quit sending me that stuff. I don't want to upgrade. I have what I want. Thank you very much. So I never see it. It doesn't even go in my read later, but their trainings go to my read later. And then anything from HubSpot that is direct from my account rep always goes into my inbox because I do want to see that. So ideally, every single day when you're waking up to look at your email box, you wake up, you get ready, you go to work, you open up your screen, your email had better be mostly the people you're doing business with, the people that you're communicating with on the regular. Everything that you want to put kind of on the back burner goes into that read later section, and stuff you're just like, I could care less about. Thank you, Honey Baked Ham. I will see you later. Boom, over into that unsubscribe. I hope that answers. I have a couple more things to show everybody. We might go a few minutes over, and of course this is recorded, so if that happens, you can pick up where we left. The other thing is too, of course, we can schedule one-on-one. I'm going to move out of clean email. This is a lot to cover, but I think all of this is important. Hugely LastPass. Oh my gosh, you guys. This was monumental in my life. Wow. I actually now have it set up for my entire family. And it's one of the reasons I'm not showing you my personal account. I just have everything in there. So I am able to segment out LastPass, which is a password manager, and they call it a vault. With LastPass, you create one really strong master password. That's the only password you have to remember. And there is a widget, there is so like an extension or widget for your browser, and then there's also the app for your phone. And as I am working through my laptop, my iPad, my phone, my husband's stuff, because he's got an iPad and a phone too. And at times, like, I'm like, hey, I got to get on there and check something because maybe my phone died, or we're out with the kids and I don't have my phone and he has it. It's everything. It's stored in there. I can do whatever I want just by logging in. When you visit, you're just out there surfing the web, and I'm sure you guys are all familiar with like an auto form filler. So, okay, I've typed it into my bank account, or you can see Amazon, Hulu, the home Wi-Fi, Facebook, Slack, all of these things. You're not supposed to use the same password. The passwords that we tend to come up that we can remember are not good passwords. The Vault will identify that you're in a form fill, and it'll say, would you like to use a password generated by LastPass? And I say yes, and it looks like XYZ, 123589, couple exclamation marks. It's insane. You could never remember it. It's super long, super secure. And then I go ahead and click yes. It asks me if I want to include that in my business folders or my personal folders. And then you can see that once I start doing that, it is keeping the website's domain, it's keeping my username, and it keeps the password in there. And then it also, when you click into these, what do you want to call them, note tabs or cards, when you click into those, it will let you have permission sharing. So I can say, yep, I want to share this with an employee just for today. And it sets those parameters up so that I can, and they don't see my password. They're actually creating their own passwords into things. Or I can give them that link, have the password saved, and they're not creating a password, and they're just getting in through this, and that LastPass, because I've authorized it, is allowing that. So there's kind of different ways to go about it. There's so many different things. I don't have my driver's license in here or my password information. I do have my Wi-Fi. I chose not to upload my bank account information and payment cards. Those are things I don't have trouble remembering. And I didn't want to have mixed with my LastPass. But I will tell you right now, I work with a lot of clients, and the biggest thing in when we're working, especially when we're doing one-on-ones, it's stop. I have to go find my password. I have sat for 20 minutes while people have called their kids or ran around their house trying to find the book that they stored their passwords in. It's just not necessary. It's a waste of time for you. It's a waste of time for anybody that you're working with. And I personally would rather be more secure than I had been in the past, which was utilizing similar passwords. The other cool thing about LastPass is it will tell you if any of your accounts have been compromised. It will also remind you to update passwords if there's certain sites that require that. And the other beneficial thing too would be it'll alert you if you're using duplicate passwords, which is not secure. But again, we all do that. I used to do that. I don't do that any longer. Okay.
Erica, how secure is LastPass, and is there a charge for it?
You know what? That's a good question too. So, so far I've shown you has been free. LastPass does have, it used to have a free option. Maybe it still does. Oh, it does. Okay, it still has a free version. Yes. You get that 30-day free trial of premium. I mean, at this point, it's $3 a month, and I know that it adds up. I went full bore with it because I was like, wow. And so, but I used free for a really long time until I realized how impressive it was. And I always encourage you to use free until you can't anymore, and then really weigh that upgrade. There was a second part to that question, Steve. Free.
Secure.
Yeah. So LastPass, when I did the research on it, it met the security requirements that I was happy with. I did lots of research. I did comparables out there, and I read what the experts had to say, and I felt comfortable with moving forward with it. There's risk. There's more. I will tell you this. There's more risk to not setting something up like this than there is to going about regular password management without having some type of system. to include more information on that, I will also say you wouldn't want to lose your master password either, because if you lose your master password, they do have a couple ways for you to get back into the account. But if for some reason that would all not work out for you, you just lose access to the account. I don't think that anybody would be at great risk of this. It's just something to keep in mind. And it's one more way for them to be secure. Okay. Moving along, we're going to talk about, I had promised a look at a visual management system. This is a visual project management system. This is, again, huge for online productivity. This is the Ketotic Hypoglycemia International Creative Team's Trello board. I'm going to show you Trello, and I'm also going to show you Kanban Flow. I use both of these. I use the Kanban Flow for my business because it's more expensive. It's a paid version. I don't even know if they have a free trial, but it is a little bit more flexible than Trello is. I do have a background in lean manufacturing, so this all kind of made sense to me without having to go in and learn how to utilize it. But what we're dealing with a visual project management board is a way for everybody to just kind of see, like pull a team together and not have to really talk about the status of things. When you're setting meetings to talk about the status of your projects, it's definitely a waste. I would rather set a meeting with my team weekly and say, what are the obstacles? What are the issues? What do we have to overcome today versus managing them and managing their time? And I don't have a project manager for my business. We all self-project manage ourselves, and we're able to do that visually. The biggest fight I have ever gotten into with a boss was with Chris Pfeiffer, and he's with Sourdough with me, and I was working at a local company here in town, and he told me, he's like, I need you to have a visual project management board. And guys, you should have seen the way I project managed prior. I had these awesome Excel lists. They worked great. They worked great for me, but they didn't work well for people who wanted to take a quick snapshot. The other thing about having a visual project management board, and by the way, the point to that story was he was right. I fought him on it. I did it anyway. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm just going to do it to make him happy. And then I did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is life changing. I definitely apologize. And he's like one of my best friends. But now one of the advantages of having this project management board too visual is that you can protect your time, especially if you're in a corporate setting and people are always bombarding. Do you have a minute? Can you pop this in? Can you squeeze this in? Now you can pull up on this board and be like, okay, great. Yes, I can do that. But what would you like me to move? What would you rather me not be working on to accomplish this for you? And so that's if you're dealing with difficult people that tend to just bombard you with, this is so important, I must have it done now, especially if they're your superior. But what you can see here is this is more of a team setup. Actually, I should say it's a team, but it's project-based. For this specific organization, we're working currently on a conference, a virtual conference. We've got updates that need to be made to the website. We have content strategy. You can see the November blog post we have, here's what we need to do. We need to write the blog post copy. We need to insert image selections. Here's the SEO, all the way down. And this just gets checked off as we go. This actually should say December on it. I had copied it and moved it without checking things off. But so that's what we do. And this can be customized, meaning like the way I have it set up in this board could be totally different for somebody else. This is something I can help people with. I am very good at setting up project management systems, creating processes for this stuff. I had to be. We're not typically, people aren't born naturally organized. My daughter is, I was not. I'm a very highly organized person because I don't like the pain of not being organized, but I had to teach myself that. And this is one way to do that. Now, I'm going to share with you my sourdough board, and I have team members. I have different ways I do this. Currently, this is my individual day. I've got my to-do list, which I also keep a list of anything that maybe I have on the back burner, like ideas, like, ooh, maybe I want to get to those video quick tips. I've not done that yet, but it's still on here. You can also see that these cards move easily. Very similar setup to Trello. Here's my list of to-dos. It's always the top is the most important. It's the highest priority all the way down. In progress, this is stuff that you're kind of working on, but it's not due today. Because due today stuff, it must be done today. The out for review is amazing. That's accountability. Accountability is so huge. Okay, I've finished this blog post. Now it's out for review. And if I don't make some type of notation of that anywhere, in which I'm doing it here in Kanban Flow, if I don't make that a point that it's out for review, and typically I do notate who it is out for review with, how am I going to follow up? How do I remember to follow up? It's very easy. I just go through this list, boom, 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 follow up. Hopefully people have already gotten back to me, so I don't have to chase them down, but if I do, that's how I do it. And then here's my best, this is my favorite section. It is a done section. Woohoo! Here's all the work that I have completed. You're able to filter with both the Trello and the Kanban Flow. You're able to set all types of different parameters. You're able to add people. There's just so much you can do. I highly recommend just getting in and experimenting. Trello is free, and it's probably a little bit easier to get into because they already have boards created than Kanban Flow, but for advanced needs, Kanban Flow would be a much better solution. Another way I sometimes organize this, and I have another board, I just can't share it with you guys right now at the moment because it's got some stuff on it I'm not able to share, some client details. But this one, sometimes I will have, we'll have the to-do list, but then I'll have my name. Then I'll have the other members of my team, whether they're actually on my team or if they're a freelancer. And then I'll have out for review, like if it's out for review with a printer, if it's out for review with my proofreader. I have their own, that's how I can also manage my team. And they tend to have, we tend to use that group board for teamwork versus these individual things.
Erica?
Okay. Yeah.
So we had one attendee that said they use Trello, they love it, and they used it for their wedding planning.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but a question did come up. Does your team utilize the Butler tips on Trello? Currently trying to understand if I can use them for myself personally and on my team's board.
Yes, we do on some. With this one, I've not done much with it because this team is pretty inexperienced with online management, and we have a language barrier because there's only a couple of us that actually speak English as our first language, and I don't speak Danish. So we have not, I encourage you, yes, Butler, and I think with the free version they give you, and just for anybody who doesn't, Butler allows you to set up processes, widgets, and things to specifically tailor your experience. That's something I can help you with on the side. It's a little bit more advanced, but yes, I do recommend doing that. Taking advantage of anything that they'll give you like that is important. Sometimes people use something called Zapier and create zaps to do some of the things that are similar to Butler. And again, that's a little bit more advanced, and we can certainly talk about that. Here's a big one. Who wants to see my Facebook page? Check this out. News Feed Eradicator. Huge, huge, huge productivity here. I have, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many social media pages I am managing on a daily basis. It's a lot. And I have to be in here. I was finding was I'm logging in to work on a client account, and then I'm sidetracked because my friend's getting married, or there's a really cute video of a puppy dog, and it just is like squirrel, and you just get distracted. I have to tell you, and I've included this link in the information I'm going to send to you guys, since implementing this newsfeed eradicator, there's other ones out there for Instagram and stuff too, but I don't do as much in Instagram. I have a business manager for Instagram, so I don't see the personal side of it, so I don't really pay attention to that. But if you're, you can just block that. Like if you're like, oh, I don't want to keep checking, you can block that out. And it replaces your news feed with inspirational quotes, which I just love. Happiness does not consist of pastimes and amusements, but in virtuous activities. And that's from Aristotle. So those change. I love it. It's super helpful. And again, I know I'm going kind of fast. We're actually 3 minutes over, but I'm almost done here. Totally, you guys should, while you're working, implement that newsfeed eradicator. It's super helpful. And honestly, during the election and with COVID and everything, I haven't had a care to really turn it back on. I just left it off. It's on. I had talked about in the email that was sent out through the SBDC how your time adds up and how we can calculate what the cost of wasted time is and how you're able to do that. I'm going to send you guys this as well. I just have it in Google Docs at the moment. I also have it in Excel. You enter in your hourly rate, so whatever it is that you make, or whatever your company is billing, whatever it is you want to put in there, you can put in there. So let's just say, let's just put in number 5. So say the hourly rate is $5 an hour, which is, hopefully no one here is working for that. Just putting it out there. But you can see I went in here and I added, here's one of my huge time wasters. I would drop the kids off at the sitters. Now the sitter comes to my home, so it's a little different. I have a nanny in the house. But previously I was driving the kids to the sitter and then I was just driving. I was like, I'll go through Starbucks. Oh, let me go over here and check out this house. It's for sale. Then I'd be like, I just got to go home and start working. You know, I saved what, 18 minutes, 20 minutes a day not doing that. You know, like at the end of the month, that's $45. And that's at $5 an hour. And that's clearly, I'm not only making $5 an hour. Hiring a virtual assistant. I've got a gal that she just helps me out and she saves me probably even more than 20 minutes a day, but you know, it's a conservative figure. Organizing my device charging station, not having to search the house for chargers. I had a printer situation that's handled now. That saved me a ton of time. The new rule on clean email, it saved me 5 minutes. Clean email must save me way more than 5 minutes, but I implemented a specific rule. Adding a secondary monitor, updating, these ones are really big, you guys, and you're probably going to want to do these. Updating your Google bookmarks bar, making sure that it's organized, organize your wires. I had to cancel an account. You can see I changed that to finance. It saved me $200 a month. I switched over to a version that was actually way less than that. Different things like this is important. Your Chrome downloads, like where are your downloads going, guys? Are they just going to regular download folder? You're able to organize that so stuff can like stop going to general folders and then you have to sort through it. That hurts. It'll hurt your head. Don't do it. Create a folder for screenshots. I have it on my Macintosh because that was important for me because I had it in other areas. But you know, where do you want your screenshots to go? Do you want them all to go to just a general screenshot folder? Maybe, maybe not. Certainly don't want them going to just downloads. All of these things, setting alarm clocks, yada, yada, yada. On this interior page, and I did not write this, somebody else did, they put, you know, what it was that they felt would help, you know, here's for health and fitness, finances, business, you know, organize your inbox is in there. Get rid of clutter, all of these things. Remove a temptation from plain sight. That was mine with the Facebook. So I will send this to you guys as well. And you just enter your own data in here and you will be amazed at the, you know, it's telling me by what I implemented at $5 an hour, it's saving me $300 a month. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. And this, I'm adding in as a bonus. Check out all of these insano browser tabs I have open. I'm just going through them one by one, but during my workday, I'm not doing that. During my workday, I'm popping in and out. I keep stuff open all the time. I don't want to miss something. If you're using Chrome, which you should be, for the most part, Chrome is one of the best browsers out there. I didn't include this on the email out to everyone for getting you guys to join this presentation, but OneTab. Go ahead, go into OneTab, upload it to your, what are they called? Their extensions in Google Chrome, and check this out. Because I'm at the end of my presentation. I'm just going to go over here. Oops, it's right here. And boom, I click the single button. All of a sudden, everything I just did is in one nice list. And if I would like to go back into any of that, it shows you where it was created. Can I restore all? Sure, I'll restore all. Oh my gosh, I don't know that I want to restore all of those. Oh yes, I do. Okay. Yep. So OneTab, also a huge, huge time saver. And I have to be honest, before this meeting, I went in there and I cleared that sucker out and I was like, I should show them this too. And then I opened up the ones I wanted open. So this too can be a tool to help you guys save your time. So I am at the end of my presentation. I know that I went through a lot of that quickly. I hope it made sense. I'm sure you guys have lots of questions. I can take questions now, or we can set up time outside of this.
Erica, thank you very much. This is some very incredibly time-saving tools, so we appreciate it. I think we'll need to get you back on the calendar through your Calendly sometime in 2021 for maybe a refresher course for those that are on the call. But again, a reminder, those that are on the call, if Erica can provide some one-on-one help, please feel free to reach out to me. I think we'll get to my contact information shortly. The slides will be sent to you. The recording should be available probably in the next week or two. I did include in the chat room our website, link to our website, but we're available for any questions. I want to thank everybody that was on the call today. We'll stay on for another minute or two, so if there are some specific questions that we can answer, please put those in the chat room, and we'll thanks. Wish you a good rest of the day. And like I said, we'll stay on. Thanks again, Erica.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.